On June 15, 2021, at approximately 6:30 p.m., Summer Wells was reported missing by a family member. On the morning of June 16th, an Amber Alert was issued for Summer. Hi, my name is Dee, and you're watching Dee Presents. On June 18th, Don Wells did a news coverage with the local TV stations. He had his son Josie with him, and he said he'll see Summer in the resurrection.
It has been nearly a week since 5-year-old Summer Wells went missing from her home in Hawkins County, and law enforcement has received more than 100 tips about where the little girl could be. The circumstances on her disappearance are still under investigation, and the TBI says nothing has been ruled out yet. In a news conference today, state officials said that they have other resources, up to 72 agencies, some from neighboring states, including Alabama, North Carolina, and Virginia. Together, they've covered nearly 2,400 acres of land as their search continues day and night. The weather is complicating things, but it isn't slowing down search crews.
The projected forecast here for the next 24 to 48 hours will change our approach. It will not change our aggressive approach.
On June 28th, Candace Bly and Don Wells did an interview together for TV news station WJHL TV 11. Candace Bly told us how her mother and Summer went to the swimming hole, and her mother went to the hospital to get her knee checked. With them was Hunter Mullaney, 15 years old, of Kingsport. This photo is from the TikTok video that Candace Bly posted that day. It was posted at like 12:30 in the afternoon. This is from the footage that was found on Candace Bly's phone. It shows Summer. We don't know if she's asleep or what. This photo doesn't look good. Candace Bly also told us how her mother, and Summer were planting flowers, and Summer wanted to go in the house to be with her brothers, and she went in the house. Candace walked her in the house, and then when Candace came in, Summer was nowhere to be found. On June 24th, 2021, Hawkins County Sheriff's Department, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, and Tim Coop held a press conference.
In an investigation like this one, we have some idea of where the case is headed and what might have happened within a few days. In this situation, despite doing everything within our power and exploring all avenues, the circumstances leading to Summer's disappearance remain unclear. I understand the lack of answers frustrates you in the public, but trust me, no one is more frustrated than we are.
In July, we found out that the Wells boys had been taken from the home by Child Protective Services in Tennessee. Shortly after that, Candace Harrer, Summer's maternal grandmother, left Tennessee and went to Indiana. On July 21st, Chris McDonough aired a video that he did with Hunter, an interview with Hunter at Hunter's grandmother's house, and Hunter's mother and great-grandmother were present. July 27th, Chris McDonough aired his interview with Candace Bly. This interview was done at Warriors Path State Park at the Horse Pond. On July 28th, Chris McDonough aired his interview with Candace Bly at the Wells home at 110 Ben Hill Road. On July 31st, 2021, Don Wells' stepsisters came to Chris McDonough and told him that they were abused by Don Wells when they were younger, when they were growing up together. Vigils were held weekly for Summer Wells. Her mother attended a few, and Don Wells attended a few.
Today, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation tweeted that misinformation shared on social media about the case continues to cause problems. They're asking the public to only share information that is from official sources.
And amidst all that, Tim Mullen became Don Wells and Candace Bly media manager in the Summer Wells case. We saw videos of Summer at the church, and she didn't like to sit still, and she was all over the place. On October 30th, 2021, Don and Candace were on someone's live stream on YouTube, and when it ended, Don Wells decided he was going to go into town and get some cigarettes, and he had a bottle of liquor in the truck, and he got stopped and got caught for DUI. In November, the Wells decided they're going to go on the Dr. Phil show. They went to California along with Tim Mullen, and they taped the Dr. Phil show. They taped 2 shows. Don and Candace had met with the behavior panel, and Candace had got up and walked out. And it was around this same time that the Wells decided they're going to start their own YouTube channel, Don Wells Family Official. Dr. Phil sent a film crew to 110 Ben Hill Road, but Candace wouldn't let them. She just would let them film certain parts of the house. On the very day that the Dr. Phil show aired, November 11th, 2021, Jody Sue had an interview with Ansley Daniel of WJHL, and she said she heard a scream. Well, Christmas of 21 came and went, and Don and Candace made complaints because YouTubers were at their job protesting against them. February 4th rolled around, and it was Summer's birthday. She would have been 6. In February of 2022, Don Wells was sentenced to 11 months and 29 days in jail for DUI and violation of probation. Early in March of 2022, Ronnie Lawson said Summer's parents were no longer cooperating in the case. Summer's grandmother came out and did her very first interview in the early part of March 2022. Candace ended up going to live in another county with her friend Kathy. She sold their suburban truck and the canoe to Kathy. Around the same time, Grandma's camper trailer was moved from the property at 110 Ben Hill Road. At the 1-year mark of Summer Wells being reported missing, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation gave a 1-year update.
On this day, 1 year ago, Summer Wells, who was 5 years old at the time, was reported missing from her home in the Beech Creek community of Hawkins County. When we held the first media briefing on June 16th, honestly, we expected to have good news to report by the time the next media briefing came around. Unfortunately, instead, day after day ended in frustration and disappointment. At that time, no one expected that we would still be searching for Summer 1 year later. We've said from the beginning that this case is outside the norm. There are few clues as to what happened to Summer, despite investigators doing everything within their power to find answers. All possibilities are still being explored. Many of you have asked for details about what's been done over the last year. I can tell you agents and detectives have spent thousands of hours on this case. Numerous search warrants have been executed, cell phone data has been analyzed, and any other available digital evidence has been collected, searched, and documented. This includes the social media accounts of those associated with Summer. 3 large ground searches have taken place in the last year with the assistance of more than 100 local, state, and federal agencies. Those searches do not account for the numerous targeted searches done by agents and detectives as they were following up on potential leads. From TBI alone, more than 100 agents, intelligence analysts, and support staff from across the state have been involved in this case.
1-year vigils were held at Warriors State Park in Kingsport on June 15th, 2022. February 4th came again once more, and Summer Wells would have been 7 years old, and no hair, hide, nor smell of her had been found.
We bought the best book There was, so I read it several times because that's all there really was to do. And I was in 23-hour lockdown, so for my safety, they say.
And since he was released from jail, Wells says it's been a challenge to gain custody back.
They're doing nothing to help us. In fact, they're making us jump through all kinds of hoops, which is almost impossible to jump through all of them and hold a job and do all these things. They're making it real tough on us.
Wells told us he has been in touch with investigators over Summer's case.
There's not one shred of evidence. There's nothing. As much as they've looked, as much as the work of this they've done, they haven't been able to come up with anything at all.
His wife, Summer's mother, Candace, has also been in and out of the hospital.
Candace has been in the emergency room 4 times for heart problems.
You process it. How do you deal with it? I had to sneak the other day when I was with Josie. I had to sneak and talk to him. I had to sneak and talk to him about his sister. I can't believe this shit. I can't even talk to my sons about their sister. I'm not allowed to talk. According to welfare and the courts and everything, I'm not allowed to talk to my boys about their missing sister. She's a ghost? What the?
Listen to these 7 alibis that Don Wells claims he has for that day, June 15, 2021.
But actually, I do kind of have like 7 alibis because there's like 7 co-workers that I talked to all that day, plus the, I don't know what you call that shit, the Subaru, plus my cell phone.
It's really the 7 people.
Know where I was all day that day.
Today marks 2 years since a little girl in Tennessee vanished from her rural home. Her name is Summer Wells, and what you're seeing here is a brand new age progression photo from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. This is what Summer may look like today. She'd be 7 years old. She was 5 when she disappeared. All of the attention on Summer's case has led to dead-end tips for investigators, even harassment towards her parents. Now law enforcement are tight-lipped about what they know about the case. Summer's father sat down with News Nation to keep his daughter's case in the headlines.
This is Summer Wells. The 5-year-old lived at this house in Rogersville, Tennessee, a tight-knit community of less than 5,000 people. On June 15, 2021, her parents say Summer was helping plant flowers with her mom and grandmother.
And she wanted to go into the house. My wife watched her go into the door, and she went into the house, and the boys were on the internet, of course. And she wanted to go downstairs and play with her toys.
I yelled downstairs for her a couple times, and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight.
2 years after her parents, Don and Candace Wells, gave those accounts, that's still all we know about the last time Summer was seen. Almost immediately, Summer's parents became the center of a police investigation.
Over the past 2 years, we've covered numerous visuals for Summer Wells. Tonight, on the anniversary of her disappearance, people gathered once again, determined to keep her story in the public eye. Most days, Warriors Path State Park is full of people having fun outdoors. But Thursday night, the park became a gathering place for 2 separate vigils in honor of a missing little girl.
And I never imagined that 2 years later that we'd be here with no answers.
No answers, no suspects, no explanation about what happened to Summer Wells.
But it does become very, very frustrating, feeling like she's just out there lost and alone.
Many here said they want more transparency from law enforcement in Summer Wells' case.
Not looking at just one person, it's looking at everybody as a whole.
Who's these people behind you?
But mama and her child.
Is that the mama and the child?
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're fine, hon.
And she ain't got nowhere to sleep?
3 of them.
You did have kids in your room. Gosh, there's 3 babies?
There's 3 babies.
I spoke with both Dawn and Candace Wells in Kingsport at a place with deep meaning to Summer's disappearance. 3 years ago, it was filled almost weekly with people praying for Summer Wells.
I see all these families, you know, with their kids and how much they enjoy them and stuff, and we were stripped away from all our kids. All our kids have been kidnapped from us by DCS, and who knows, we're not sure about Summer, but we know about where our boys are at.
While the prayer vigils are now few and far between, Dawn and Candace Wells haven't stopped praying that their daughter Summer will be found.
We have hope, always. I mean, but there's not much hope in this world. We know that she was taken off our property, and we know she was taken away in a vehicle, or they would have found her in the area if she was somewhere in the area. But who's responsible for her? We don't know. I asked Dawn and Candace when was the last time they heard from investigators. We haven't lately at all. It's been a while, over a year, I think.
February 4th came again, and Summer Wells would have been 8 years old, and she has not been seen or heard from. Her 3 brothers have been adopted out, and they're not coming back. Not anytime soon.
Okay, kitty. Buddy. Yeah, go kitty, kitty. Yeah, you go kitty, kitty. Yeah, you go baby. Here you are. Oh yeah, I got 3 of them. They're good kitties. They love to be outside.